Okay, well, for example, let's take some of our secondary schools. Many of our secondary schools in York Region, if you were to visit York Region, and many other boards, but I will, because I live in York Region, I would invite you to come there, the level of innovation that you would see. For example, in the types of schools, we now have in that school district a variety of different types of schools. For example, sports schools, hockey schools, for students who are good at sports. They also do the academics, but it's like catering to the issue of multiple intelligences. And can you imagine what it is like to build schools that will cater to those who are artistic, those who are kinesthetic leaders, those who have strong interpersonal skills? I think more and more we must follow the research on multiple intelligences if we're going to retain more students in schools. Because for too long in our schools, we have focused on those who have skills in the logical and mathematical areas. And we have art schools. We have a proliferation now of schools that cater to the different intelligences of students. We have schools now being built very close to and being attached to community colleges so that students can take courses in the college and get credits also for taking courses in high schools. We refer to that as the dual credit programs. In addition then to the types of schools, it's a matter of the programs we have. In Ontario, yes, you must follow the Ontario curriculum, but there is also the opportunity for sort of locally developed courses, as we are calling them. So you could have courses developed around media, where students are into video conferencing and many of the new areas that we know our students are interested in. And the local schools then can propose to the ministry a course in an area that would meet a local need and for which they have students. And we're finding a lot of the innovative programs and fashion and all those areas that students may be interested in, they have those locally developed courses for students. We find that when there is education that focusing on the arts, for example, a lot more students do well if they're learning through the arts. That's a major initiative for us now in Ontario, learning through the arts. And it goes on and on. The sky is the limit around those locally developed courses that address specific needs not already dealt with in the Ontario curriculum. Another area in which I think schools need to do more in, Jean, is the whole area of career development. One of the many things I've done in my own career is being a guidance counselor, both at the primary and at the secondary level. I am convinced that if we did more to infuse career development initiative throughout schools, issues of relevance would be satisfied for many students. And that is for students in general, but also students who are at risk of dropping out of school. We have heard from many students that when they are engaged in career development initiatives, they can see the relationship between learning and earning. No longer do they say, why do I have to do this? What good is it going to do for the rest of my life? So I believe, in the schools in which I worked as a young teacher, there was always a career development in every subject. All teachers were expected to relate their subject areas to the world of work, again, for students to see the relevance. And for students from ethnocultural communities, students from racial minorities, Aboriginal students, the teachers who teach these students must be some of your best teachers. And this is not happening in many places. You don't find the department heads in high school teaching the weakest students. We have to get at who is teaching what students if we are going to bring about change, and making sure that all student teachers then are dealing with career development. We have to go back to our roots around relationships. For most of our students, especially in disadvantaged settings, they are saying, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. And I think the pendulum has swung away from the days when people would love those kids to death but not teach them. And now there's a craving back to make the relationships be as important as the rigor and relevance of schooling.
Thank you.